Tut. Now this is why reading is fundamental. Because part of this is true and part of it is not. Do you think that the historical King Tut really looked like that? No. Absolutely not. But the cover, the writing is true. It says the new face of King Tut, because it's certainly not the old face, Ashe. Well, everybody say prove it. Prove it. Let's go a little bit further. Remember we said, hit it one more time. Remember that we said the Greeks didn't invade Kemet until 333 BC. But King Tut ruled in 1332 BC. He came up over 1,000 years before the Greeks even showed up on the scene. But let's go a little bit further, because we don't have to wonder what he looked like. There's one of the busts of what he looked like. So they try to pass off these other things. There are a number of different statues of King Tutankhamun. And one of them is even just straight black. So we have to ask the question, will the real Tutankhamun please stand up? Because they call him the original king of bling. Ashe? So again, you have to be reminded that there's some people who are trying to claim your cultural accomplishments for their own. But remember, I've given multiple examples one more time. And for those who think, well, that was just in Egypt or just in the Nile Valley, no, we had great learning centers all over the continent where people from all over the world came to study at our feet. This is the University of Janet. Everybody say Janet. This is in present-day Mali on the west coast of Africa. It's still standing, over 700 years old. As we go to the next one, you see the University of Sankore at Timbuktu. Everybody say Sankore. Timbuktu. Next one. And here we'll see that the president of the University of Sankore at Timbuktu is a brother by the name of Ahmed Baba. Everybody say Ahmed Baba. Now this was a bad brother because he was the president of the university for 30 years. And during that time, he wrote 42 books. And I need y'all to really catch this one. When I did my research, when I did my due diligence, and when I looked back and did the research, I found that books in ancient times in Africa were literally worth their weight in gold. People bought as much gold or traded in gold as much as they did in books. As a matter of fact, if you went to the bookstore and bought a book, they had a set of scales, and they would put the book on one side of the scale. And they would pour gold dust on the other side of the scales until the scales balanced. And that's how much you would pay for the book. And so these are the things that point to our academic excellence and achievement. As we go a little bit further, what we have to do is we have to go back and reach back and reclaim this knowledge. Some of us say, well, why would I want to go back to Africa? As Malcolm X said, people say all the time, I ain't left nothing in Africa. He said, why you left your mind in Africa? That's why we are doing things that are countercultural, that are headed towards self-destruction today, because we don't understand who we are. How many of you all have friends or classmates who don't know who they are, who act crazy? Crazy. Come on now. Now, when y'all come back in a week or so, when school starts, guess what? You're going to be sitting right next to them in class, right? And you're going to be trying to do the right thing, but they're putting so much negative energy forth, you got to have something for that. So here's an affirmation that I want you to do for me. Repeat after me. Don't mess with me. Don't mess with me. I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission. Don't mess with me. Don't mess with me. I got a vision. I got a vision. I'm going to take it all the way to the top. I'm going to take it all the way to the top. Until I reach success, I'm not going to stop. Until I reach success, I'm not going to stop. Don't mess with me. Don't mess with me. I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission. Y'all know how they do. They try to hate on you, right? Because you come to class prepared. They want to hate on you, right? Because you come with your homework completed, or you ask an intelligent question or answer one that the teacher asked, then they start talking about you. Matter of fact, if you know how to properly conjugate your subjects and your verbs when you speak, and you know how to speak standard English where standard English is necessary, then they say you acting right. Well, if acting intelligent is acting white, then what does it mean to act black? See, somebody done got over on y'all. And I just want you to know the truth as we go a little bit further. Ashe? Ashe. Now here's something that blew my mind when I found it. I found this when I was doing some research at the Temple of Dendera. See, if I were to ask you, who discovered electricity, what would you say?
A black man.
Somebody said Benjamin Franklin, somebody said a black man. If I were to ask you who discovered the light bulb, what are we usually told? Who? Thomas Edison, okay? Now, we can't take anything from Ben Franklin or Thomas Edison, but we also can't take anything from our ancestors who gave them the knowledge. So as we go a little bit further, I want you to look carefully at this hieroglyph. What does it look like he's holding? Somebody said a pipe. Somebody said a light. Well, let me show you what he's holding. We go hit it again, please. That's what he's holding. A light bulb. Hit it one more time. There's a Swiss researcher who did some research, and he studied this hieroglyph, and he built this structure based on exactly what he studied from the hieroglyph, and it not only created a light bulb, it lit up. This is what our ancestors gave the gift of the world. But what happened was, see, when the French commander Napoleon went into Egypt in the late 1800s, he took over 100 French scholars with him to go into the temples and record the knowledge and come back. It wasn't until those French scholars came back and produced this book that many Europeans began to study and got to America. That's when all of your electronic inventions started, y'all. See, we were the ones who gave this to the world. Go to the next slide. One more time. Again. Now, again, I have to give multiple examples here. Take a look at Insubit Akhenaten. Everybody say Akhenaten. Take a look at his profile, the slope of the nose and the curve of the lips, and take a look at the brother standing right beneath him. Is it any wonder that Akhenaten was a brother? Go a little bit further. Because remember, I bring multiple examples. If you weren't convinced then, this is his mother, Queen T. I mean, it's very clear to see that she's black, right? And you can find this bust in the Berlin Museum in Germany. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that your artifacts are spread all over the world, mostly in European museums. Because when they went there, they stole it and took it back to their homeland and started studying you more carefully than you study yourself. Here's a picture of the Horimaket. Hit it one more time. And there's something on the Horimaket, the face, that I want you to notice is missing. What is it? The nose and the mouth or the lips. Why do you think those two things are missing? They weren't missing in ancient times. Some people say Napoleon's army blew it off because he hated black people. But the reality is those are the telltale signs that these were African people. A broad, flat nose and big, thick lips. You know, all the things that we crack and joke on each other about, right? But as we go a little bit further, you find out that it wasn't just the Horimaket that was missing those things. Those have been chipped off of a lot of ancient African artifacts. Because somebody knows something about you that they don't want you to know about yourself, for fear that you might rise up and restore the earth to balance. You see, all these wars and rumors of war that are going on right now weren't taking place when we were in power. And when we rise up and come back in power, it's not so that we can do the same thing to others as what was done to us, but to set things in their proper balance. Go a little bit further, brother. Here we see the daughter of Dr. Asa Hilliard, one of our finest African scholars, standing in direct profile with the Horimaket, so you can see what it must have looked like. Go to the next slide. Now I have to ask forgiveness for this one. Because sisters, I know when you come out of the house, you like to look your best with your hair done, and some of you even wear makeup and all those sorts of things, but I had to go to great lengths uncovering mummies to prove my point. Take a look at the hair of Queen Ahmed. Very clearly braided. Go to the next slide. And we see Lady Ray, nurse of Queen Nefertari. I mean, it looked like she just came from the salon and then gave up the gold. But the interesting thing about this is, most of the uncovered mummies look like this, where it's very clear who we were. And see, some of us thought that the braids, the twists, and the locks, and the cornrows, and all those things were recent things. We've been braiding hair and locking hair and twisting hair for thousands of years. And so when we do that today, it's not just a fad or a fashion. That is the ancestors speaking to us and speaking through us. Go a little bit further, brother. Now here's one of the most important slides. This is a picture of my wife and I. And this year we will celebrate our 12-year wedding anniversary. I put this here because family life and life in general was sacred to our ancestors. Go to the next slide. And it's so sacred to them that they wanted to preserve it. This is a picture of our family. God has blessed us with two wonderful children, Jabari and Amari. The name of Kua means messenger. So we're a family of messengers. Jabari, who is 6 years old, we started first grade this year. His name means brave and mighty, so brave and mighty messenger. Amari is 3.5 years old.